Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So sitting here on top of my old Harbor Freight Chicago electric welding table is my brand new Harbor Freight titanium welding table. So let's get this out of the box and set it up. So this table is 36 by 24. The table I've been using was 20 by 30. This table is more of a fabricator table with all of the holes in it. And I've had trouble in the past with clamping things to my old table. This one comes with a full set of clamps and fixtures to make fabrication easier. All right, so here are two tables side by side, and I did add casters to the new table so I could roll it around. So it's a little bit taller because of that, but this table's surface area is 600 square inches. This surface area is 864. So what is that, like just over a third bigger maybe? Anyway, the other difference is this table was $79 and this table was $179. So you can find them both on sale if you use like the 15% off discount or whatever, but basically you're gonna pay $100 more for this table. Now then, the main reason I bought this table was for these clamps that come with it. You can move these clamps into any surface on this table to get in any position. And the other thing that I liked was these round hold downs. They also can go in any position. It also came with these hold down clamps that you can move wherever you want, but I don't foresee using those as often as I will use these clamps. I'll use probably every time I use this table, and these round ones obviously if I'm using any kind of round stock. The other thing is with that slot in there, you can put anything up to, it looks like that's about 3/16 wide in there to hold that piece vertically. With this table, I bought some of these burger clamps, and you can use that to clamp things on, but it's just not near as easy if you want to clamp something right to the center. You've got limited reach with a clamp like this. Now you can find these tables pretty much any place. I think they've even had them at Home Depot and stuff, but when I looked around, the cheapest I could find a table like this was about $50 less than what this table at Harbor Freight was. But the hold down clamps that it had, these clamps looked about similar. The round clamps looked similar, but the ones I found, nobody else had these clamps that can just go bolt down to any of these spots. So they were basically just another C-clamp. And I like these style clamps. And also I didn't find any place where you could just buy a set of these clamps for under 50 bucks. So I went ahead and got the Harbor Freight table. Here are the casters that I added just so I could roll this table around wherever I wanted it. And it is locking also so that I can make it stay where I need it to. Last thing you want to do is be welding along and have your table roll away from you. The other thing I found with this table is it is about the easiest thing I've ever assembled from Harbor Freight. All of this table and support here was already assembled. Literally all you do is bolt the legs on, whether you want the short legs to make it a bench top or the long legs to have it on the floor. There are 4 bolts in each one of these legs, so that's 16 bolts, and they're 13 millimeter on the bolt head and 13 millimeter on the nut. So this was, like I said, super simple to put together. It took me all about 2 minutes. I felt like there was no reason to film it. Okay, and this table can hold up to 600 pounds, but I don't foresee ever having that much on it. But the big thing that I've seen in these reviews, I haven't seen anybody actually weld on this table. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let's set it up. To prepare to weld on this table, I'm gonna spray it down with this anti-spatter and nozzle shield spray, and that'll just keep any of the weld that gets down near that table from sticking to it and causing problems. Now I'll just wipe that down smoothly with a paper towel. Okay, and this will just evenly distribute this anti-spatter. Okay, now we'll set up our fixture. We'll start by cutting off this pipe with this. So we're gonna use a couple of our round fixtures. Slide our clamp over and tighten that down to hold that securely so we can cut that off. cut that off pretty easily. So let's get our other piece done and then we'll get ready to weld this up. Okay, with our pieces cleaned up and cut off, I've got about a 90-degree angle there. A chop saw would obviously be more accurate, but I'm just kind of playing here. My goal is eventually to be able to get into doing a little bit of scrap metal art, and so I figured this might be a good little test. Let's see, so this would go here. We'll spin those till they line up pretty good. About right there. Now we'll clamp everything in place. Okay, I think that'll do it. We'll get our welder set up and see how this works. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how I've got this fixtured up now. So it's close to a 90-degree angle, and I'm going to weld it at 90 degrees. So that EMT, that's 3/4 inch electrical conduit, and it's 1.23 millimeter wall thickness. So I'm going to use basically the 18 gauge, which is for, I've got 30 millimeter 0.030 wire in there. So according to this little chart in the box, it says to use it on 3 and B.5. So I've got it set to 3 right here, and I've got it on right between B and C. So I figured that's how B.5 is. So we'll see how it welds. Okay, I'm gonna start with a couple tacks. So eyeball. Ugly. Okay, let's clean that up with a grinder and see what we got. Okay, so after pulling that off the table and out of the grinder, I don't think that looks too bad. It's, you know, the first time I've ever tried to, well, don't look in here. I couldn't get the grinder in there. But this is the first time I've ever welded this EMT tubing together. And it's not going to fall apart. So that's not too bad. And like I said, this fixture table is what allowed me to even have the confidence to try to do that. If I just had these two pieces laid on the table, clamped on, I'm sure they would have moved. They'd been nowhere near 90 degrees. Let's throw a square on that and see where we're at. Okay, so this isn't like most scientifically accurate probably square, but with that on there, I mean, that's, to me, that definitely is good enough. That looks as accurate as I'm going to get it. So, like I said, the fixture table, I don't know what the tolerances are on it. I've seen people measure stuff with micrometers and stuff. I don't even own a micrometer. But for my little yard art, if I need to weld a piece of tubing together in a 90 degree, I can do it. Now, this side looks a whole lot better than that side, but I didn't grind this as long. So I see some divots there and stuff that if I ground on that a little bit more, it may come through, or like I said, it might look a little better like this side does. But what do they say? A grinder and paint makes you the welder you ain't. Well, I'm definitely not a welder, but I enjoyed it as a hobby. And one of the reasons I did this, I'm getting ready to take a welding class, and I just wanted to see if this is my no training tubing weld. I'll see what it looks like when I get done with this class. Let's do a close-up of the spatter on this table after you're doing that little project. And remember, I sprayed this stuff with the anti-splatter compound. And there's some discoloration, but basically it's coming right off. So pull these up. I went ahead, I did spray all the fixtures also. But look at that, that's about the worst looking spatter. And it's gone. So if you get one of these tables, if you're interested in keeping it nice, I definitely recommend that anti-spatter spray. I bought that at the local welding shop and it was like $9. So your mileage may vary, but I'm gonna try and keep this nice because it sure is nice right now. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. It definitely helps the channel out. And we invite you to subscribe to see more. My final thoughts on this titanium welding table, I like that I put it on the casters. It'll make it easier for me to move this out of the way than the old Chicago Electric one that you just have to scoot, although that one will fold up. So, pretty nice table. I think the regular price on this is now $179. I got it with a 15% off coupon. So, I'm pretty happy with it. And to me, what made the difference, this one is about $50 more than the cheapest one I found. It looked similar. But to me, the other one did not have these clamps that will go in any of these holes bolting down. They just were literally C-clamps, which would be the same problem I had with that table and using these burger clamps. So definitely, I like it and hope you did too. Have a great day and be safe.